Hey everybody, it's Adam from IHP, and here we are on episode 9, season 2 with JC and the IHP staff. Like always, we just jump right into the questions. All right, Carlos, for the lay person, explain or demonstrate internal-external hip rotation.
It's pretty cool. Internal hip rotation is just this. Okay, what's done in a backswing, internal hip rotation of this right side, and a follow through, internal hip rotation on that side. That's easy. That's what it is. Here's the tricky part. So if you go to a therapist, internal rotation, or you ask somebody internal rotation, they think about the muscles that cause internal rotation. Okay? The body doesn't do this in real life. Gravity, all right, internally rotates the hip. So if I want my hip to internally rotate, I don't pull on these muscles in here and do this. No, I just go watch. I just drop my shoulder, and my shoulder turns the hips, and this leg is planted, so I internally rotate the hip. That's easy. All right, in a forehand, I internally rotate the hip. Okay, in the open sense backhand, at the net maybe, here, boom, I internally rotate the hip. Boxing, all of these things, batting, golfing, all these. Internal rotation is not caused by the internal rotators, it is caused by gravity. So who controls internal rotation? The external rotators. So the external rotators open up, it's called eccentric loading, open up to load, while the internal rotators are shortening due to gravity. And so if you want good internal rotation, you can't go to the internal rotators. You got to go to the external rotators and get them to lengthen under load. It's called eccentric loading, and it's the essence of flexibility. So it's pretty cool stuff.
That's it. I'll play you guys sing.
Sorry.
All right. When working with kids, maybe 10 years or younger, do you prefer working with some of the equipment that we have in the gym, or stick to more body weight training, movement, calisthenics, things of that nature?
Normally, anybody will tell you physical development, especially from a young age up, internal rotation. You have me on internal rotation. Internal loading before external loading. That means you teach body weight training, calisthenics. You should be teaching biomotor skills. So if a 10-year-old doesn't know how to skip, that's the first thing we're going to do. If a 10-year-old doesn't know how to squat, that's the first thing we're going to do. If a 10-year-old can't even balance on a single leg, much less do anything on a single leg, that's the first thing we're going to do. You don't need to put anybody, adult or young, on a machine and externally load them if they can't control their body. Controlling your body is the essence of function. That is what you can do. That's athleticism. So internal loading before external body weight is the first thing I do with a 10-year-old. That doesn't mean we won't use equipment. If they can show me some cool stuff, hey, I'll introduce them to all this fun stuff that we have. But you got to be able to control your body first.
Right. Man, biomotor skills are huge.
Huge.
We see high schoolers and even collegiate athletes who can't even skip.
And believe it or not, especially at the young level, crawling, running, skipping, all of these things have been associated with cognition. So that's a whole different seminar in and of itself.
All right, what we got here? Question number 3. Thoughts on using the glute ham machine that we have, the 45-degree extension that we go through. Your thoughts using that versus performing some glute ham work on a stability ball or even from a standing position?
It's just another tool. I know that's a big phrase. It's just a tool. It's just a tool. I love when people say it's just a tool and then sell you something as an entire system. Look, the 45-degree bench is an awesome piece of equipment, but I don't use it exclusively or instead of. I use it when sometimes certain things don't provide me the results, or I can't do certain exercises. Then I'll use the glute ham. For example, let's say that I need to teach hip hinging, and for whatever reason, this person doesn't get what hip hinging is, which is this, okay, because they can't control all those joints. Or they have some kind of issue at the ankle or the knee and I can't load them to do a deadlift every morning or a squat. The 45-degree bench allows me to stabilize the entire body and just hinge the hip. So for the first time, they can hear their butt talk. Because right now they can't hear their butt talk because everything is talking and they don't have the sophistication of saying, okay, I gotta do this. Because everything is talking to them, they're all confused. So the 45-degree bench allows me to lock out the legs, turn out the toes, say, look in front of you, arch your back and be able to modify the back and the spine and the neck and all that. Say, great, here. And then touch the hip joint. You don't have to touch the butt or anything. Touch the hip joint and say, now, fire this joint here and look, come on. And it takes 1 or 2 reps and they get it. And then I go, feel your butt? Yes. And it's the first time that they actually have that communication. Usually a couple of reps of that or a couple of days of working that, and you ask them to squat, boom, all of a sudden they're squatting that. So I use that kind of as a regression or progression to some of those exercises, and then just as a supplement, man, it's a great, awesome exercise.
Yeah, hip hinging is a
Everything.
challenging movement.
It is the most important thing in level changes. Hip hinging, done.
All right, one more question. Short episode today. What are some of the criteria or characteristics that you consider when hiring a performance trainer or personal trainer?
Well, before I used to look at paper, and in the review and interview world, we look at paper. What is your degree in? What is your certification? And after 15 years of looking at paper and coming up empty, now I look at personalities. I look for personality profiles. I don't care what paper you have. As a matter of fact, I've seen an inverse relationship. The more paper they have, the more bad habits they have, and the better they think they are. So it's like I got to deal with the ego, and then I got to deal with the bad information, and then I got to deal with the little application that they can even pull the trigger on here on the floor. So I'm looking for personality. I've often said, show me a bartender or a waiter or a waitress, and I can make a great personal trainer. Because these people can take a bad situation and turn it into a good situation because they rely on tips. So they know human interaction, they know personalities, they know how to get along with people. That's the first thing I need. And they're not shy. You get a lot of personal trainers with a lot of people and say, but I have a passion for helping people. Yeah, but a passion for helping people, if you're willing to train for food, doesn't get you anything in this field. You gotta love it, but you gotta be that kind of person that if you're at a wedding or at a social event, people ask you anything. What's IHP? Hey, do you work out? Oh, I've been trying this diet. If anything like that comes up, and you don't have an audience of 3 or 4 people within 5 minutes, this ain't for you. That's a test. When you're at a social event, are you the person that ends up with 3 or 4 people listening to you, or are you one of those 3 or 4 people? Simple. If you're the person that 3 or 4 people, okay, are listening to, you got a shot at it. You got a shot at it because teaching you what we do is fairly simple. How hard is it to learn a push-up, squat, an anterior reach? Not very difficult. I don't need you to learn ATP, glycolysis, electric transport system, pushing the anaerobic threshold to the right, left, up, down. I don't need you to do any of that. I need you to be able to talk to a mom and get her really excited about the great things you're going to do for her. What's up? So that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the profile. Just like the armed forces, I learned so much by training our special ops guys. And how are these guys selected? You're not selected. You don't make SEAL Team 6 by being a great shot. They make you a great shot. You don't go in there by learning explosives. They teach you explosives. You don't go in there by learning any of the things they know. How do you get in there? How do you get in there? You get in there by going to their recruitment process, and they're going to put you through things that you never thought you would go through. Being in cold water for 3 or 4 hours. See how you deal with hypothermia. And it's not hypothermia, it's just how do you deal with that stress? How do you deal with fears, things you don't know about, dark water, night, deep water, or there's sharks. How do you deal with that kind of fear? How do you deal with, when you're under stress and you're shaking and you haven't eaten and you're overworked and your knee hurts and this and you're tired and you want to go home. Right? How do you deal with cooperating with 3 people to move anything? So that's what they do. They get you under these situations where you're all here and they say, all right, put your uniform on. And they want to see who freaks out because they can't get their button in because they're like this. Who can calm down and do that? Who can cooperate? They take that profile, the person who can get overworked, underfed, underslept, and still keep it together. They take that person, then they invest $1 million into them to teach them how to shoot and how to do all this stuff. Okay? So it's the same thing here. I want to know who can talk to people, who can move people, who can believe in what they are, in what they do, in their career, in their capacity to help people. Who knows that? Not believe, knows that, and can transmit that. That's the person I want. Done.
Awesome. So listen, I want to talk to you, I'm curious about how your functional training book is doing, number one, and then number two, we are conducting a 10-week functional training class here.
Yes.
I think this is the first time that you've taken the content of your functional training book and you're actually applying it to students live.
Definitely, yeah.
So I don't know if you want to just touch on how your book is doing, and if you want to talk a little bit about that 10-week course.
Well, I just came back from the NSCA annual in New Orleans, and I spent an hour at the booth signing books and talking to people. And Human Kinetics can't be any happier with the book, so we're crushing it. It's been out for 6 months, and it's already being translated, contract signed, money given, the whole bit, in 4 languages. So we're now, right this minute, we're going to Spanish, Simple Chinese, Polish, and German. In the queue are Portuguese, Russian, and another language. Okay, and obviously in English, right? So if you haven't had the book, if you haven't had a chance to get the book, go to Amazon, or you can go to our website, either way. And if you do like it, please leave a review on Amazon. That helps us a lot. Okay, you'll see that we have a ton of reviews. They've said that they've had books for 2 years and don't have the amount of reviews that we've had in 6 months. So that helps us. As to the 10-week program, I'm honored enough to teach the functional training part of the whole program for Dr. Abbott's Fitness Institute International. And they now teach all their courses out of here in this very room. And I was a student of that program, and that program was responsible for me going through my undergrad and my graduate with like a 3.9. I just blazed through everything because they prepare you so well. They've got 6 courses, each course is 10 weeks, and I was honored enough to have Dr. Abbott ask us to teach the come up with and teach the functional training course. Well, we've been using our old book for 10 years, something like that now. And 2 days out from the course, we already had, as a matter of fact, some students had bought the old book, and we made up our minds to do the new book, because it's the right thing to do. We have new information, why teach them the old stuff? So, this new book, I'm now putting the curriculum together. The class starts in about 15 minutes or so. So, it's awesome. These guys are going to be going through all of the theory in the book, so I'm very excited to come up with new questions and new learning objectives, so that's really fresh for me. Everything is updated. That book is the best work of my life, because it's all 14 books that I've written together. It's the best of the best, plus new information. And now at 1:30 on Tuesdays and Thursdays, which is taught out of here, we're going to go live on Facebook of what that course is like. I will be doing theories on Tuesday, and the staff is going to be doing practice on Thursdays, and it's going to rock. I'm excited already. Brand new slides, brand new info. It's awesome. Please tune in on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 1:30 on Facebook, Eastern Standard, and you will see a little bit of what that class is. Of course, we got the mentorships. If you're interested on having a great education vacation, the mentorships here at IHP, which are basically, you will be culturalized. Maybe shock culture is more accurate name for it, but you will see and you will live IHP with us for an entire week, and that's an awesome experience. South America is going crazy over it right now. So that's it.
Education vacation.
Education vacation, baby.
All right. Hey, we'll see you guys in a couple of weeks, episode 10. Take care.